The stillness of these expansive fields is always one of the first things I notice when visiting a battlefield. These fields, once the stage for horrific slaughter, now stand in complete peace. Walking these landscapes, you can't help but reflect on the soldiers who fought and fell here, their sacrifices echoing across these now quiet fields. On July 3rd of 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg was entering its third day of fighting. Thousands have already perished, and soon, thousands more would join them. Lee's plan was to attack the Union center with 3 divisions of infantry. At approximately 1 p.m., nearly 150 Confederate cannon would begin bombarding Union positions along Cemetery Ridge. The thunderous roar of hundreds of cannon shattered the midday stillness, sending reverberations across the rolling Pennsylvania landscape. Thick plumes of smoke billowed skyward, obscuring the sun. The ground trembled underneath the relentless onslaught as shells screamed through the air, exploding with devastating force among the Union positions.
Cannonade in the center presented one of the most magnificent battle scenes witnessed during the war. Looking up the valley towards Gettysburg, the hills on either side were capped with crowns of flame and smoke, as 300 guns, about equally divided between the 2 ridges, vomited their iron hail upon each other. Confederate General Evander M. Law
At the epicenter of this bombardment was Battery A of the 4th U.S. Artillery. Through the dust and smoke raced their 22-year-old commander, Lieutenant Alonzo Cushing, barking orders to his gunners to get to their posts. Within minutes, Cushing's battery was in action. Artillerymen and horses from Battery A fell dead at their posts. A limber chest exploded with a roar, killing and maiming the crew in charge of adding fuses to shells. Seeing some soldiers run, Cushing chased them down, drew his pistol, and ordered the men back to their positions. The Confederate barrage left Battery A in shambles. Cushing himself was wounded multiple times. The first wound was a shell fragment to his right shoulder. Then, moments later, a second shell fragment tore into his abdomen. Despite this, Cushing refused to go to the rear. Instead, Cushing received permission from General Alexander Webb, whose troops were stationed around the battery, to move his 2 remaining guns down to the wall at the angle. Cushing and the survivors of Battery A rolled their remaining guns forward adjacent to the 69th Pennsylvania Infantry. Union Artillery Chief Brigadier General Henry J. Hunt, recognizing the need to conserve ammunition for the anticipated infantry assault, ordered his cannons to cease fire gradually. This tactic was designed to create the illusion that the Confederate bombardment had successfully neutralized the Union artillery. Unaware of the ruse, Confederate Colonel Edward Porter Alexander interpreted the dwindling Union fire as a sign of success and signaled for the infantry to advance. At approximately 2 p.m., nearly 13,000 Confederate infantry began their assault across the open rolling fields. The 9 brigades of men stretched over a mile long and made the perfect targets for Union artillery. First, shell and solid shot ripped open gaps in the Confederate lines. Then, as the Confederates came within 400 yards of the Union line, canister and musket fire started. Round after round tore into the Confederate ranks, but still they pressed on.
They were at once enveloped in a dense cloud of smoke and dust. Arms, heads, blankets, guns, and knapsacks were thrown and tossed into the clear air. A moan went up from the field, distinctly to be heard amid the storm of battle. Lieutenant Colonel Franklin Sawyer, 8th Ohio Infantry,
Pickett's Virginians crossed the Emmitsburg Road and wheeled partially to their left to face northeast. Cushing was personally directing his men to load and fire his 2 remaining guns. His crews were now firing double canister into the oncoming gray wave. Cushing could now see the Confederates were less than 100 yards away and would be at his position within seconds. Grasping the lanyard that fired the gun, he shouted above the din to Sergeant Frederick Fugger, standing nearby.
"I will give them one more shot."
Seconds later, a Confederate bullet struck Cushing through the mouth. The shot killing him instantly. Confederate troops now poured over the stone wall, capturing Cushing's 2 guns. But moments later, Union troops would rush into this breach and repel the Confederate breakthrough. The infantry assault lasted less than an hour, and in the end, the Confederate attackers lost nearly half of their attacking force. It is estimated that nearly 7,000 men were killed, wounded, or captured, assaulting the Union center.
He especially distinguished himself for his extreme gallantry and bravery, his courage and ability, and his love for his profession. His untimely death and the loss of such a promise as his youth cherished are sincerely mourned. Captain John G. Hazard.
On November 6, 2014, 151 years after his death, Lieutenant Alonzo Cushing would finally be awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions at Gettysburg. To date, Lieutenant Cushing is the last Medal of Honor to be awarded to a soldier in the American Civil War.